I've pretty much always wanted to be a marketer. Since as young as I can remember, I wanted to be rich because I was thinking, okay, what's a good way of becoming rich? And obviously, due to marketing, you put your word, content, copy all into words to then allow the person who you're working with to be able to make more and more money with a multiplier. It's effectively playing the game of life with a cheat code. It's playing life with a cheat code. But going way, way back to it. So I'm going to introduce you guys and tell you a bit more of how I actually became a marketer and how I actually got from 0 to 25K all the way back from me starting my very first business back in year 10. But I'm going to even go a little bit further back because the elements of persuasion and the elements of sales were still very, very important when it came to me actually becoming a marketer and allowing to me actually to tell you what happened and what actually developed me as a person to be able to tell to the customer, because all marketing is just storytelling, just with a more direct or brand element to it. So let me just start at the very start. So since I was young as I can remember, I've always wanted to be an Olympic athlete. I always wanted to become a sportsman because I was like, okay, that's the only way I'm going to actually get freedom. So I actually did that. I tried that. I learned a lot when it came to basically just keep on going, going and going, or when it came to elements of how often you train, how you treat your nutrition, and how you actually treat your body as your first business. Because this was technically my first business model because I taught through the ways that I was actually spending more and more time outside of school and inside of school to basically get my body in better and better shape so then I could become the best rower I could be. So that's what had all my focus on. So from the ages from grade 8 all the way up to year 9, 10, that was my whole focus in life. I want to become an Olympic athlete. That's it. No ifs or buts about it. You just shut up. You listen to me. That's it. And then from there, so there's a show called Suits, if you guys are aware of it. I found myself very similar to like the Mike Ross sort of person. You know, he's very emotional, but yet he's also making sure that everyone feels happy and feels safe. I felt myself very, very close to him, but I was always aspiring to be someone like Harvey because Harvey was this charismatic, handsomely dressed guy who can talk his way out of anything, but is also the best closer in New York City. So I was thinking, okay, so once I finish school, I'm going to become a lawyer. And then we all know what happened after that. So, you know, back in 2019, 2020, the little event that happened. After that, you know what they're like. I wasn't actually doing any schoolwork. So I was meant to be in school, but I was actually playing like Fallout 4. So yeah, I was in school, I was playing Fallout 4 during legal, and I'm like, this is such a fucking waste of time. What's the point of me dedicating hours and hours and hours to my life to possibly not even getting a job in the first place? And then because my dad just quit the bank at the time, and he's just like, it's crazy, isn't it? How you can make more money doing it by yourself than working for like a bank, because the banks just print money. They control inflation. They do whatever they want effectively. You guys are way too simple for me to explain what actually goes on behind the scenes. That's for a whole nother story. I can't even say it here. So join my free Telegram down below. I can actually tell you in more detail. I'll let you guys know later on regarding inflation. That's a whole nother story. But it's just like, I can make more money from the bank. Actually, let me move back a little bit. So I actually discovered this guy called Jason Capital. He was selling his copywriting, which is all you do is just pretty much just write text, write copy that sells and converts very, very well to businesses so then they can print more and more money. The thing is, they can print more and more money, but also you write words, you print money. And that was the first thing that actually showed me what copywriting is in the first place. Then from there, I got introduced to the freelance side because I'm like, okay, so you can basically print money from your words. You don't have to have a job, and you can print money from the sky by having your words multiply your message, which then allows you to print money from the sky. So that taught me a lot. And then also the freelancing side also taught me how business works and the basics of that. And then from there, I went into the workforce because obviously, as I said, back in the very, very beginning of the video, Iman Ghazi introduced me to social media marketing, and I actually wanted to try. I kept on trying that because there's just a few little cliche off sort of people that who's got businesses who need marketing. I offered to help them. I tried to get sales. I thought sales was easy as. Funnily enough, it was not. But anyway, moving on. So from there, I got my first job working for a consultant. I learned a lot about business, finance, and also how the pillars of sales and marketing works. I learned how the sales come in, how you can also run the whole finance of the business, as well as how can you basically get a business from being almost bankrupt to being a business that prints like 100K a month. That's what I learned. And it's also like how the banks were integrated and all that. As I said, just join the free Telegram down below. I cannot say it here. I'm going to get screwed again. But yeah, so that happened to me. And then after that, I just kept on working and working and working. And then from there, I got another job because I'm like, I got so much free time. I don't know what to do. Because I was back there playing Fortnite. You know what you do. And then I was just like, I don't know what else to do. I got so much free time. I'm bored shitless. What else am I meant to do? So then from there, I decided to get another job. It was customer service. It was low ticket sales. It taught me the essentials of human dynamics, as well as I was studying free computer science, psychology, personality types, as well as marketing and sales courses online. I was also studying from a whole bunch of online universities as well. So I was like, I might as well do this. So then I just kept on studying. Like I was obsessed with Jordan Peterson for a while because I just want to know everything about how people work, how people maneuver, and why people think a certain way, how they actually react to the Freudian psychology, and how can you actually strip them away from their traits and see how they can actually react in the world, if that makes sense. So I did that while I was learning basically customer service, sales, and also learning how to essentially run a business because I was left to run the business all by myself for a few days at a time. And plus, whenever I was on shift, the whole business was up to me. Whether it flopped, whether it failed, that's up to me. If I fuck up, I fuck up. If I don't, I don't. It's effectively like running a sales role, just you don't get paid commission. So then from there, I got another job. So I'm assuming, as a lot of you people know, in Australia, support work is very, very important. So then from there, I got the skill of people management. Oh, and also I just want to jump back to 21. I also learned day trading as well back then. This was a very, very important thing because it also taught me the importance of sunk cost fallacy, and you should not be so stuck to your result. So then you can actually start to move forward more and more and more. Hence why I switched businesses so much, because I wasn't be like, I need to do this. I need this to work. I've invested so much money. I need this to work today. So yeah, moving back forward. So then we add people management. So I learned how to manage and find solutions for people who didn't get the best circumstances. Actually, once you actually do this for yourself, you'll understand it's a lot more difficult than what you actually think. You think it's really just people just playing on their phones all day, but once you get more and more of the complex clients, you get to understand how they actually work. Like I had one guy who was he was like mad smart. He was like probably a high IQ of about 145. Because he was one of the first guys to actually create AI within Australia. I had him as one of my clients. He taught me a bunch, but then I could also, once I got to know him more and more and more, I also got to know and understand like how he reacts to certain situations, how he reacts to social environments and everything else. It was like in his 70s. I can't think of what he had, but then also to move on to it, I had another client who literally didn't want to see me for about 3 months. And then I just kept on showing up. And then he's just like, okay, I finally trust you. And then from there, I was able to read his emotions and see how he reacts to certain types of situations. While I was still working the other job with the consultant and as well doing the low ticket sales. And I'm like, holy shit, I've got like the trifecta. Then from there, I joined a course and also paid for fucking coaching the whole way through. Because as you can see in my story video, I paid for a shit ton of coaching and I got a lot of valuable information. So I learned. I did crypto investing. I learned a shit ton about that and how people react and how the retail people react to the market and how people react in certain situations when we have buy sell periods. All of this has been very, very important because it's all understanding human dynamics and how they react to certain situations. And if you're thinking what the average retail trader is, they're an emotional client. They like to fall into their whims and buy whatever they want. So then I applied this to marketing, but it's also a little bit different because it's B2B, which makes it more and more complex because I'm trying to get adequate to what they can and can't do and how can they react to certain situations. So that's what I was trying to do and get a better hold of. So I did that. I learned from that. I also took all the knowledge that I learned from working with people previously, and also I had a hell of a time in school. That's a whole nother story. But I had a hell of a time in school and basically put all that information, worked my ass off, and eventually got my marketing agency up to making 25 grand a month. Through cold calls, through rejection, through content, through reels, through whatever you name it. I also got banned on Instagram and lost everything. But didn't stop me. I was still just showing up, styling people, doing more stuff like this. And then we just kept on printing. You know, one of those types of businesses that don't like to be seen, don't like to be heard up until they've made the results or that they've gone ghost, technically, as what all my mates were calling it. That's technically what I did. because I was in a situation that I knew I had to pull it off. I had $50,000 worth of debt. I knew I had to pull it off. This was my only shot. This was my only opportunity. What else was I meant to do? What, work another job? The job is only meant to be there for temporary reason. Your job is temporary. You can see what I said about it in my Telegram down below. Completely free. Plus, you get all the information and hear about what I do. And like, because all your whole life is marketing and sales, and how you position yourself, how you present yourself, and also sales is what you do when you date, and also how you sell. So it's like you're going to hear all of that stuff in my life, because it's all, well, my whole life is literally just sales and marketing. So yeah, so that's pretty much on my marketing story, and pretty much how I got to being a marketing god, because I just did more and more cold calls, more and more content up until I hit that first client, which was like shit, yeah. And then I did more and more and more. It's just multiplying the reps. But also, with me basically paying for coaches and paying for frameworks and courses and everything else in between, I've learned some amazing frameworks. So I learned a framework that took $70,000 from my account. I stole that from someone. So imagine if you had that in your own pocket, just because you were not afraid to hop on the phone to someone. So you can watch this video here, and actually improve your mindset before you want to start your first marketing agency, or you can just join the free Telegram down below, and you get tons of free data, tons of free information, and just it's literally like one of the most valuable things you can do, because you get to hear all about my life, how I think through my problems, and how like I think, okay, how I can do this, this, and this, and how I can solve this, and then you can possibly apply it to your own business and actually understand the importance of coaching. And yeah, I wouldn't have got where I was if I didn't spend that money on coaching.